if you're thinking about moving back, your worst fear will not happen. And even if your worst fear happens, your worst fear is somebody else's best outcome. The worst thing that can happen to you is somebody else's, they're praying for to start where you are, right? Start at your rock bottom. So process that, sit with that. And then to the people that are here already, let your why be more than you.
Teaching you how to Diaspora in style. Hi guys, welcome to the Ajebutter podcast, the ultimate spot for bold Africans rewriting the Diaspora narrative. Here we dive into unfiltered conversations, sometimes gritty, other times funny, but always inspiring real life experiences of Africans abroad who've made the big move back home to prime. Forget the usual Diaspora yarns, like we're flipping the script over here, okay? And so if you're in the diaspora, thinking of coming back, or if you're just curious, this is a good place for you to be because we're teaching you how to Diaspora in style. My name is Mululua, and I'm joined by Katsuke. Why are you laughing out now? Why are you laughing? You're not that cool, baby. So, and of course, we have none other than I really need to introduce her if, I don't know, if you're not like in the 21st century, probably, if you're not on social media. Aminat Sule, a very highly accomplished legal and strategic consultant with a distinguished career spanning government service, international advocacy, and the private sector. She served as a key advisor, PA, I believe, to the former Nigerian president Olusegun Obasanjo, and played a crucial role in the Lagos State's judicial handle on NSAS, championing human rights, and due process. Back in the UK, where we're from, Aminat spearheaded legal reforms as head of equality and access to justice for the General Council of the Bar of England and Wales, and navigated complex negotiation and strategic partnerships for Afro Nation, one of the world's, of course, as you know, largest Afrobeats festivals. Returning to Nigeria now, she's founded Imale, a luxury linen brand that celebrates African textile heritage while fostering sustainable economic growth. So she really just brings a unique blend of legal expertise, political acumen, entrepreneurial spirit to the conversation today. And girl, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Intimidating.
Yeah, she's wow. I would agree. With all of that in this beautiful brain and this face.
Thank you.
Oh, well done. Yeah, well done. Grandly. We should say we're proud of her here, both in and out of the continent. Yeah. So, Amina, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate you guys giving me a platform here. I know this podcast is going to go on to do fantastic things and to definitely aid so many people's lives. Like what you guys are doing, and you're contributing to assisting people make life-changing decisions. So I know you might just think, oh, it's just a podcast, but someone might listen to this and finally make the decision that will transform the generations that will come after them as a result of listening to your podcast. So I hope you never look at yourselves as just a podcast. And I think it's fantastic. Sorry, how is this your mother?
It's better age now. You even not even look.
God, I see what you're doing for her. The cheese.
Yeah. So that's why we're bringing two generations in the room on the podcast so that we have different perspectives. Because I know from her generation perspective, there are some things, but from my perspective, my generation, there are some things that we are looking out for. Legacy is one of them. And you touched on something, and we hope that this podcast will achieve that somebody out there will connect with you, with your story, and it will do something, and somebody to make just the right decision that will affect generations after them.
Yes. And that's what we hope this podcast to achieve here. And that's why I have 2 generations.
Yep. Love to see it. Okay, cool. So, no ice anyway, but for the sake of it. And also, it's a test your like Nigerian knowledge. Like, what did I do? It's review. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what? I'm not ready because I know your mom's input is contributing to this. So please, don't ask me about Baba Dinda. Wow. Please.
I'm sure the question you're going to get, there's no way you will.
Okay, I don't want to fail completely.
It's not food, it's learning.
Okay, so learning, yeah. Everything is learning. I'm learning. So let me ask you, you should, in fact, I know everybody, you people behind the camera, they don't be smiling after this question. What does Ajebutter mean in Nigerian slang?
Oh,
You see, you see.
so the alternate of Ajebutter is Ajepako, right? So Ajebutter is somebody who's been well taken care of, someone who is has been looked after, who has had the privileged side of Nigeria, who has been fortunate to experience, maybe the middle class of Nigeria.
Yeah. And then you get called that often, or did you? I mean, like, has anybody ever called you that?
I think off the back, from your first encounter with me, you could possibly perceive me as that. But then you'll see me in Shomolu, Jota, and the situation has changed. So there's really Ajebutter between us now.
Girl, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, I'm going to Shomolu after this.
So Amina we see here on the island is different from the thing I'm going to see.
Absolutely, yeah. I've got a trade clothes.
Oh wow! She's not playing your battle rate.
Yes, because I'm so bad. I just like it like this.
Two battle. Wow!
You have to be able to.
And I think that's one of the things people need to. I think there's like Diasporans that are connected, and recently, Japada. It's I can call them that the people that are listening, maybe those are the things, sometimes some people are struggling, and that's one of the things we hope this podcast is going to do, to help people that are struggling and find people like you, the Ajebutter that can easily flow in the Ajepaki streets as well.
Oh, yeah. I find that a lot of people that, maybe within a certain class that have grown up in Nigeria don't do or don't experience a certain side of Nigeria. So I have people, for example, so I did NYC. I've just finished.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. That's why I'm here. And so I had people that have lived in Nigeria, but for example, I took public transport to work every day. And they were like, that sounds like hell. And I'm like, why? But I'm just trying to say that even people that have lived there their whole lives, maybe gone to uni abroad or whatever, they might perceive us as Ajebutter, but I don't think have engaged in half of the normal average Nigerian's lifestyle. Yeah, so really between, like I said, like you said, between me and Louis Ajebutter.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I'm engaging with more of the real Nigerians than you.
Yes.
Well, so yeah, the second one, this one, if you don't, this one. The name of the person that is going to Baba Yabo will not be happy with you.
She even sat up.
Baba Yabo will not be happy with you. Which Nigerian?
Imagine.
Please be fair. Maybe say sorry. You shouldn't ask.
To be honest,
Sorry, they shouldn't ask. He's covered my shame.
Okay, there was this Nigerian leader that said at the LAFO during a press conference. At the LAFO during a press conference.
Producer, do you know?
This one looks like Ajebutter actually.
These are next.
Which girl does it?
At the LAFO, there was a particular conference that they said he laughed for like 3 minutes because of one question that he was asked. The same person.
But no, mom gave it away. Before she said bye-bye, before she gave this.
I said he will not be happy with that. He does not get straight.
She knew he was going to speak the hotel. I didn't even get that.
Yeah, but based on his character, I can see why that.
He laughs a lot, or
No, I think he's so intelligent, and he has a way of reaching international audiences through his behavior and his mannerisms, and he's just got lovely charisma, is the honest truth. And I think stuff like that, it translates more than a laugh. I don't know the question that he was asked at the time, but perhaps, the laugh, the continuous laugh that in itself would have had a meaning. He's very strategic.
Yes. The question was about an ex-vice president becoming the candidate for the Northern Consensus. Yeah, yes. And when they asked him, and I think that person has actually worked with him before, yes. He laughed and laughed. I said, I did laugh for,
It looked like it was a pregnant laugh.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. It was an answer in and of itself.
Yeah.
There we go.
Absolutely.
So that's, yeah.
I mean, okay, so I suppose in a way it started already speaking to your experience, I suppose, in talking about Baba Yabo guns. I want to maybe take it a little bit further back. Where were you born?
I was born in London.
You were born in London?
Yeah, born and raised in London.
Born and raised in London?
Yeah.
So you're not one of those ones that maybe came back?
No, I've never schooled in Nigeria.
Okay.
They didn't even threaten me about schooling in Nigeria. No, I was not shit.
I don't know, you were a bad kid.
Yeah, was I bad? I think I was well behaved. Yes. I think you could describe me as a well behaved child. I was very outspoken.
Okay.
Still am.
I was going to say, not much has changed.
I grew up in London, raised in London to two Nigerian parents.
Right.
And growing up in London, we used to be called Bubu, African Bubu, when I was growing up, like from being. It means like it wasn't cool to be African growing up. Like it wasn't cool to be Nigerian. People would say that they were Jamaican. Well, how is happening Nigerian? And my Nigerianism was so deep rooted because my dad would drive his Camry to pick me up, and he would be playing Pusha, he'd be playing Sonia Day, Marista, Collington. And I remember this story. I told you this story all the time. One day it was raining, and I was supposed to pick up my neighbor from school, but my neighbor at the time, he used to call me African Bubu all the time, and it used to make me sad. And my dad had already arranged with my neighbor's parents that he was going to bring us home from school, and it was raining, like it was like a storm in London during this time. The rain was really bad, but because my dad would never change the radio to Choice FM, and it was always Moshupa, Barrister, Collington. I used to be so shy when he would drop me off and pick me up. So that day I left my neighbor in the road and they said, I'm so sorry, you can't follow us because of the music. Yeah, it was too, so it was clunk. It was clunk. But that's just to attest that Saturday mornings I would wake up, from as young as 5, I was in the kitchen with my mom. My mom would be like, you have to cut the okra or yam and egg. I would be the one peeling the yam. So my Nigeria, I basically grew up in Nigeria, but just in London.
Okay, yeah, the typical African home that they will say, outside this place is London, but here we are Nigerian.
Yeah.
That's the capital. Because I know homes like that or families that are like that. Oh, interesting. You think ours is a bit? I think it's a mix, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a mix.
I would say it's a mix. Did you speak to her in Yoruba when she was growing up?
I think I try. I do. It's their dad that doesn't. Yeah, because I'm very particular about heritage. Very, very particular.
I mean, I can see you, the co-host of this video.
I'm very particular about it. Yeah. And I think she caught the ball very, very early as well. She did, yeah. She did. Monula was the type that when they're having lesson in primary school that they said bring different types of bread. When a lot of say I want Agege bread, take to school, that kind of shit. So yeah, I caught the bug, but that hold up or did it for so far. So okay, so you grew up in London. How many years did you live in London for full time?
My whole life. Yeah. So I came to Nigeria first when I was 7 years old.
Okay.
And I fell in love with the place. I really, really fell in love with the place. I always wanted to come back from the age of 7. And then I think I came here again when I was 17. Wow. And then ever since then, I've just been coming back. I moved to Nigeria when I was 20. 20, right down. And then I like spent some time here, went back again. And then I moved here between 22 and 24. Then that was after like all of the stuff that I'd done in Nigeria. Like, you know, I had done NSAS. I was part of the lawyers that redrafted the 1999 constitution rec for the elections. I contributed towards the TBS, PBC registration. There was a whole drive in TBS. And then I was just like, oh my, this Nigeria is hard, man. Nobody makes me Jesus. Nobody makes me Jesus. And I went back to London and I had felt like a failure. I was just like, oh my God, I've come back to London.
Really? Did you not think you were going to come back?
I wasn't sure at that time. I wasn't sure. Like, and also like my parents don't live here. Right, like all my parents are in Nigeria. All my immediate family are in London. My parents are in London. All my siblings are in London. Like I don't have any direct next of kin in Nigeria.
Right.
I'm just an loose child. I just do what I want. Like literally, I had an inkling that like, and I had something in me for a very long time that said like, I'm supposed to be in Nigeria, and every time I've run away from it, I found my way back here.
Oh wow.
Come close. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. If you have watched this video or you have listened to us up until this time and you haven't subscribed, why now? Subscribe. And don't stop at that. Share this content and give it a like, you know, and we'll see you in the next one. But please, hold on. Keep watching until the end of the video.
Yeah, I think I find that that experience, I think it's almost becoming very common with diasporans that go and come back. And some of them, what they have found, they found a way around it. They feel that even if they spend 6 months, 9 months, or 1 year, they need that break to go there, like breathe and come back.
Yeah,
and I think that was what you needed.
Yeah.
So that was what you needed, yeah. Because you thought, let me just come full time and just stay here. I think it doesn't work that way, especially when you were born there.
Yeah.
You have been lived there all your life. No, you want to have a breather.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll always need that from time to time. Even now,
Yeah.
you might still need it, yeah.
Yeah.
You think?
Will I still need it now? I don't think it will be a need, it will be a want. Right. I feel like now it won't be I cannot function in this place. It would just be a want. And I feel like even mentally, spiritually, where I was then and where I am is in two different like headspaces anyway. So I feel like I grew in that area and in that element. So now I kind of feel like God tells me I should stay here. I'll be a bit more scared to leave, right? Than I was before. Like if God told me to stay before, I would have probably just been like, oh, see how it goes, right? But now, if God tells me to stay,
In a way, your relationship with God is kind of improved.
yeah,
Since you came back.
yes, no.
I think Nigeria has a way of making it. You have to rely.
It's how I came back. Actually, my relationship with God got closer when I left Nigeria.
Oh, when you went back?
When I went back, that's when my relationship with God got stronger. Not when I was here.
Really? I'm surely.
Do you think location had anything to do with that, or just phasing your life?
So last year, 2024, was definitely like the hardest year of my life. Both of my contracts ended from both of my roles, and I started 2024 in Nigeria, right?
Okay.
This linen brand I'm wearing in Mali now, God told me to start in Mali in 2020. This design I'm wearing now, I sketched in 2020. We are now in 2025. I have dates attached to everything. One thing about anyone will tell you that knows me is that I have video entries of my prayers. I have journal entries. I've got journals for about 9 years now. So everything I'm saying is get receipts. So God told me in January I should stay in Nigeria and start in Mali. And I laughed. I said, are you joking me? I have bills to pay. Like, what do you mean? I don't know how I'm going to eat next. And you're telling me I should stay in Nigeria. So I was disobedient. And I went back to London.
Okay.
God said to me, so I came to Nigeria at the end of 2023 into 2024. I was only meant to be here for 2 days. Okay, for my father's wedding in 2023. So for context, for timeline, I said I moved back in 2022 to London, right?
Yeah.
2022 June, I moved back to London.
Right.
2020 to September, I started both of my jobs. One being legal counsel for Afro Nation, and then the other being head of equality and access to justice. Had the greatest time of my life, done very phenomenal things, traveled the world, created economic deals, rewrote legislation in the UK. I felt like I was on top of the world. Like, I felt like it doesn't, like, God, it don't get built. It don't get better than this. I wasn't in the country ever. I was always on a plane somewhere. I
heard you on Instagram. I heard you on Instagram for a while.
Really? So, like, my friends would literally call me and be like, what country?
Well, you know,
Yeah. So, God was great. God was sufficient. God did everything. 2024 started. I came to Nigeria in November 2023 for my cousin's wedding. I told my family I'm going for 2 days. They looked at me and they all rolled their eyes. I didn't leave Nigeria till the end of January 2024. God told me I should stay. I said, I'm going to find a job. January 2024 came, unemployed. February, unemployed. March, unemployed. I go to St. Lucia. I shoot a release for Imale, right? I had something made and I had done a whole concept shoot I was like, no, it's not good enough. I'm not putting it out. We're in April, May, I'm still applying for these jobs, right? June, I'm still applying for jobs. July, I'm still applying for jobs. July comes, it's my birthday, and I'm just like, God, I need a change. Like, how can I have all of these degrees? Got 3 degrees, I have 10 years of experience. I'm going through these interviews, 6 stages. I'm not getting a job. Bearing in mind, I had written down in my journal in 2023 that those were going to be my last jobs. Right? I knew God had already told me and I had written it down. I'm just really stubborn. Okay. So I can't say that God doesn't speak to me. I just don't hear. So he said to me, those are going to be my last jobs. I was like, you're joking. I didn't hear that, right? But I documented it just in case. Yeah. So I tried everything to get a job. Like, I was going through 6-stage processes. I was getting to the end of the process. And then they were told me, oh, they went with someone internal. I had recommendations on recommendations and things like, when I tell you I used all of my power to get a job, it wasn't enough. I used other people's power. It wasn't enough. Still couldn't get a job. So then I had got to August and I went into a deep season of hibernation. Like, nobody could reach me. And I was like, God, it's me and you. Like, I need to understand what's going on with my life because you don't want me to go into prostitution, right? So you don't want me to embarrass you. You don't want me to embarrass my family. So how are we going to navigate this? And God was like, do Imale. I was just like, you're not hearing me. He said, I don't have money. Why are you talking to me about Imale? I can't afford this. And then I got on a scholarship to fashion school. And I was like, God, I applied for that thing. Even the way I got it, it's not for me. It's inconspicuous the way I got it in itself. And God was like, yeah, you're going to fashion school. I didn't take fashion school like I was taking it. I was still looking for jobs on the side. Meanwhile, to be very honest, every single month of last year, I probably spent 10 hours working on Imale. I would pray on it. I was really intentional about school fees for me I know people struggle with that. And for me, I've always wanted my workers to be able to pay school fees as a result of this brand. That was one thing I prayed about. I prayed that my workers would be able to travel to our stores internationally and have exchanges. So if I opened a store in South Beach, Miami, I wanted the people from South Beach, Miami to come to Nigeria and my workers from Nigeria to go to South Beach, Miami, and so on and so forth. So I spent a lot of time praying about it. I spent a lot of time ideating. I'd done a luxury marketing course. I'd done the whole shebang whilst applying for a job, right? Because I needed a job. I had bills to pay. So anyways, I kept applying. And God was just like, you're not going to get a job. And also, I need you to understand that nothing I'm ever giving you is by your strength or is by your might or is by your power. So you've lived your life thinking you've worked hard, so you're entitled. Oh, baby. Let me tell you about my failure.
I've been making it work for you. Yeah. It's same.
Yeah, and he literally, he took everything from me. Everything from me. And he was kind of like, you think that all of your achievements is because you've worked hard. But my favor, my love, my grace, my input is more than all the hard work you could have ever attested to. So I had to learn that lesson. After I finished learning, he was like, so you're going to listen to me? I was like, I'm going to need a few clear signs, okay? If you want me to upload my life back to Nigeria, I'm going to need clear concrete signs, not wishy-washy signs that are inconspicuous that I have to. No, I need to tell signs. Yeah. And literally, I think like I had on the 26th of December, 2024 was when I made my mind up that I'm coming back to Nigeria. By the way, this is just over a month. This is just over a month ago, right? Yeah. And I made up my mind on the 26th of December. I told my family, I was like, listen, I've tried everything. You guys have seen I've tried everything. It's not working. I feel like God's telling me to start this business. I'm going to start it. And the rest, let's just see how it works out. So 26th of December, what's the date today? The 6th of February? Yeah. And it's the 6th. I got into Nigeria on the 23rd of January. And the spirit of speed, God's spirit of speed has literally done this. Sorry, apologies. It's literally it's done that. And that is just because I was just like, God, you know what? Even in the design, and I feel like if you're thinking about coming back to Nigeria or if you're thinking about doing anything in life, your why has to honor God. Your why cannot honor yourself. It has to honor more people than yourself. It can't anything. Yeah, like how does like global impact has always been something I've like been really passionate about. So even like in the design of what I've been doing, when you ask me why Emale only does linen, it's not just because I love linen. It's because God's body was wrapped in linen. It's because linen is described as what the righteous wore. It's because linen is what is mentioned time and time again in the Bible. The high priests wore linen.
So basically, your spiritual journey and your business are not the interwoven. Yeah, I say.
You know why? Because if it fails, I won't feel bad. If it fails, it's not me. It's not me. I've surrendered everything to God. Like my whole life now, I'm just like, God, you know what? You see, you chairman. I'm just following. Like I don't feel the pressure anymore to like. I'm scared to fail because it's like, how can I fail when I've given it all to God? Like, how can I? Before, I was so scared of failing. I was so scared of, oh my God, my career has done this and now it's gone stagnant.
But why do you think Nigeria, not London?
What to do it in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Because God told me to do it in Nigeria in 2020 and I ignored it. And also, this place is my home. Like, this place, there's so much talent in Nigeria. There is so much talent. And like, people come and they come to Nigeria and I feel like they see Nigeria and they see the risk. They see the risk involved. And I feel like the spirit of excellence is important. And also changing people's lives is important. Like I'm aware of how much, as I'm speaking to you now, I know how much the school fees is of my tailors already, of their children. I've met their children. Because for me, it's like, I genuinely want to be able to come into Nigeria and change the standard of excellence as to how we perform internationally in this regard. For me, it's like when we're having conversations with organizations like the UN as to how we, increase the GDPR of Nigeria, how do we export Nigeria? We import a lot. But how do we export Nigeria? And this is why podcasts like this are fantastic because we're exporting. We can't, and listen, we can sit and complain that the government doesn't do this, don't do that. Do your part. Use everything that you've learned and you have, invest it back into this country, and let's see how God moves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also of the opinion, and I've said it in several places, that there's no development of Africa without the diasporans. There is none. It's not going to happen because they've seen, and they can bring back and replicate. If you rely on the foreigners to come and do it, they will just see it as a marketplace. Let me just come and trade. I'm going to take my money. But for the diasporans, because it's something, it's also now they're connected to. And impact also will be connected because they want to make impact. They want to see the impact of whatever they are bringing or doing. See you connecting it to the school fees of your tailors, that's a massive one. Yeah. For a young person, I actually commend you because not many people think like that. Yeah, everybody's about me, I, and nothing.
You don't grow that way though. And legacy is so important. And also the one thing I admire about the elder generation and the generation before your time, like the forefathers, the people that built Nigeria, is that okay, what did you study? Law. Okay, what did you study?
I'm an accountant.
So you're an accountant, right? You're a lawyer. Maybe she studied medicine. So that would mean that you will draft the paperwork for the hospital. You will do the finances, and that's how Evercare would have come about. Do you get? Or at Lagos University, that's how that would have come about. We're friends. You are good at this. You are great at this. Let's come together. Let's make a bank. Right? And I feel like there's not enough of that. Like, there's not enough collaboration. And that's how you build economies. That's how you build economies in Africa. You collaborate. But right now, everyone is in isolation. We're all working in isolation. Like, you can't work in isolation and grow an economy. It is impossible. If we're all doing different agencies are operating, there's no conversation between agencies. You're just all working in silos. How does that economy
It doesn't translate to growth. It doesn't translate to development. Yeah. True.
Well, I think through your tips, I was showing my own music song the other day. I said, all I can say is, Amina Sule. Because this babe, you don't look at what you, well, I don't know if you have been or going through.
Yeah. So in one word, Lauren, just tell us one word. Your experience in Nigeria so far. What since she's especially in the marketplace. Yes, in one word. Or if what was, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, it's been easy for me, you know.
Okay.
It's been easy. Like, it's difficult, it's stressful, but God has made it easy for me. Honestly, I don't know where it comes from, but I'm in the market and I'm like I think I haggled something down from 90K to 40K. Like, I said,
That's yours.
from 90K to 40K. My friends were like saying to me today, no, you will take us to that market. You will haggle for us. And I'm just like, because I tell everybody, like, this to lose economy together. Do you understand?
We are in waste.
You ain't gonna have the money to.
I don't have it.
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't, the money you think I have, I don't have it. And I just feel like just being relatable and just being kind to people, like being kind to people goes a long way. It goes a long way.
So that tells me you have more of highs than lows. I chose also the experience. Yes, you might choose to focus on the highs, but what we want is a balanced view so that we are not given.
Just so you can prepare people's minds.
Yes.
So that, so like, I don't know this thing about God, man. You cannot, like, you just, like, there's a peace that I have now that I didn't have before because I'm doing it with God, right? Like, you cannot do, you see in Nigeria, this is how serious they take God here, right? You see on Sunday, on Friday, everyone leaves their office to go and pray if you're Muslim. You people don't miss morning prayers here. People will go to midweek service. They will go to the club and they will go to church. People don't play with God here. And I tell people all the time, I have this theory, it's called the red car theory, right? Like, and the red car theory is that, let's say I'm a bank manager, right? And you pull up in a red car. Okay, I'm interviewing a bunch of people. I'm a bank manager, I go to morning prayers in the morning. And in morning prayers, I'm praying, whatever. Back in the day, one of my childhood friends, his dad drove a red car, right? So in the prayer in the morning, you're thinking about your childhood friend. You see the person that you're interviewing put up in a red car. You're going to give that person a job. Simply because they turn up in that red car, and simply because you've gone to pray, and simply because you have this orientation, right? And that orientation is where God's favor works. And that's why I say Nigeria is a country that you can go to bed with 10K and go to sleep with ₦1 million. It is possible in this place. I don't know anywhere in the world, everywhere I have traveled to, I don't know anywhere that is possible.
Someone might be watching you or listening to you and they might be saying, yes, that's possible because of the level of corruption. So what do you say to that? Yeah. But that's possible. You know what? Level of corruption. Because you said people go to church. Despite the fact that people go to church, they go to the mosque, they're very spiritual.
Or religious. I don't know about
religious. Okay, they're religious. They're very religious. Monday to Friday, it's the same set of people that are doing all these things.
Yeah.
That's, I'm a nice.
Yeah.
So I just remember, I just want to, then, how do you reconcile? How do you reconcile that? So that's why, even though people say God this, God that, it will be like, is it that, or just because that's the language we like to?
Yeah, that's real. I mean, that's real, man. That's real, but at the same time, I feel like we have to be accountable, right? Every single person in this room is corrupt. We've engaged in corruption in this country. Every single person that comes to Nigeria at some point engages in corruption. That's a fact. Because we understand that money moves the needle, right? So it's like, there's an idea about how much does it cost, right? You see in Nigeria, the classism here disgusts me. I can take racism. I can deal with that, right? I can understand. I can comprehend. I don't accept it, but I can comprehend it. I cannot comprehend classism. I cannot comprehend that if I show up in a Prado, I'm going to be granted access. Or if I show up in a GLA, I'm going to be granted access. Or if I show up in a Camry, you're going to speak to me differently. Classism in Nigeria is its own ism, and people don't really talk about it.
It doesn't have part two, but anyway, or it doesn't have part two, the one that we have in Nigeria. But the thing is, it has its history in how we came in the end.
Yeah.
Because they is a system they created and left, and we are not changing it.
Yeah.
So it's easier for us to see it as if we are doing it to ourselves, but they actually created it. They actually created it. So with what you just said, classism is likely to be one of your lows that you have experienced in Nigeria. Yeah, you have your highs and you have your lows. So classism is something you cannot just.
I've seen it. Like,
but you haven't experienced it, have you? Has it ever been? Have I
been? Yeah, I've experienced it in different cars. Specifically in different cars, I've experienced it for sure. That's why that car thing is so personal. It's personal. Like, okay, I might take the Camry today. The economy is hard. Like, what are we talking about? Do you know how much petrol is? Excuse me. The time between the Prado and the Camry is different. And also, I'm going to a Boma show. Okay, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. And I just feel like, there's a lot of classism and. Yes, I've experienced it. It's not right. There are so many things that are wrong about this country, but I don't like focusing on the wrongs because I feel like sometimes we'll find ourselves in conversations where we dwell in it with no solutions. And like a question that I ask every day is, okay, so what's the solution? I hate it when people tell me a problem and there's no solution to follow. Okay, so Nigeria is bad. Nigeria is corrupt. Do we have solutions? Are we talking about solutions? Are we implementing solutions? Because I will not sit here to talk about solutions that will not be implemented. So it's like, is it the conversation doesn't decide circle of like vicious cycle that you just bring on a moment.
Hiya, my name is Atinuke. Hiya, I'm Ololuwa. Thanks for watching up to this point. Yep, thanks for watching. But you guys, you need to like the video. Yes, now. Subscribe, share, comment, leave a rating on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Engage with us, please.
And do all the good things that you can do online, yeah?
Yes, please. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
So, you've done with the lows. What are those positives and you have experienced? About the people, about the environment.
Sorry, before we do that, I feel like we have to talk about your tailors. Like, you won't mind. My own just called me this morning. She said, how are you? I said, how do you think? Based on how you treated me, how should I be? Because what kind of question are you asking me after you close my kidney for ransom? So like, it's not you're doing it for you. Like, that you see that I can do it, yeah? That's why I had to respond to that, because don't tell me you can do it and then don't do it. Yeah, does that make any sense to you?
I think that's if you have, I think that's a Nigerian system thing. People don't want to say I can't do it.
Why?
I don't know.
Because there's money on the table.
I don't know why.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I respect it. I respect it. I respect the can-do attitude.
See, a can-do attitude should be followed up with
That's can-do.
and do everything in your power to do. Not that you do rubbish and you tell me I did.
Yeah.
But it's not what I want. So what do you do now? Because and then they'll still. Sorry, I think I'm ranting. And then they'll now expect you to say, okay, you gave me. I ordered this. You gave me this. I'm saying it's not the same. They're saying it's still fine now. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's not fine for me. Well, sorry. You're still going to pay, but they're still going to pay you fully. Sorry. Are you okay? I feel like it's disrespecting me on so many. Disrespecting my intellect. Disrespecting me as a human being, because you think I can't see. Because the thing is, you only acknowledge the facts that it was wrong when I pointed it out. So you knew the whole time. Yeah, we're just trying to see if okay. Yeah. I hate when people take me for the idiot because what do you think this is? Yeah. And why do you? A can-do attitude is different from deception. I'm sorry.
So with the video that you're talking about in particular, that wasn't a whole ordeal. I actually took the video down. Right.
Yeah, not even that. Was it that one? Is that or the other one?
Oh, the video about the tailor, right?
Yeah, I think there were two, no?
There was two. Ajebutter. Yeah. So the most recent one was the white dress, and that one basically was on its way to viral, and I took it down. Because the tailor, she knew I was recording. She consented, but when she saw the video, she had her family message her about the video and she felt uncomfortable. She asked me to yeah, she should, and rightfully so. I'm also not going to ruin someone's dad, you know what I mean? So that I'm not going to, but
you did it to yourself,
but she really did it to herself. But anyways, I say this to say, like, I'm also learning to be like a leader in Nigeria. Learning to be a leader in Nigeria and a leader outside Nigeria is two different things. And I feel like as well, like, just learning not to personalize the insult, right? Like, you did this to me and you gave me this clothes. Your orientation told you that was okay. You didn't mean to insult me. You didn't mean to insult my intelligence. You're just used to getting away with subpar work, right? Like, Nigeria as an institution has made you believe that you can deliver this, right? It's made you believe that someone will just say, check, I'll manage it, right? Like, and now I went through the orientation issue, right? So even what I didn't show in that video was that I took her to the market after. I made my driver drive her to the market and drop her off at the market, and like tried to pay for her transport. And like, I know you messed up, but the idea between the stick and the rock, or the carrot and the rod, basically, like, you have to teach people with love. Like, you can't, just because people are mad, there's a level of madness that you will match. And you apply wisdom. Yeah.
So after this, I can't stoop.
Yeah.
Come up to me.
Help them to understand. So, and the question I ask my tailors, is this the best representation of you?
Do they understand?
As soon as I ask them, I start thinking about it.
I think most of this, the perspective is a very, very, very important. And like Aminat said, I think most of them, they don't think beyond themselves with everything they're doing. They're not seeing the impact it has on their reputation. They're not seeing the impact it has on, they might never get another customer. They don't see the impact that if I do this person right, it might give me repeat customer. Or they don't understand. They don't understand those that aspect. So because of that, even when you're saying, why would they were just looking at you like, when you're alone, you take so there's a lot of teaching and mindset shifting that needs to take place.
I can tell you, I think my patient.
That's why if you come back to Nigeria, it should teach you patience.
I not that type.
I don't know whether you've gotten that memo.
She has a good team because she's doing the narrow and brought me in the broad straight. Because I was not.
If you use the road all the time, there's never going to be a battle.
You're hitting me first. I'm hitting you back with the road. You hit me with wisdom.
Yeah.
You came at me with violence.
You want to live your life with that's what all the time.
And also, like, especially with that, like,
That's the thing.
your life is still predominantly like if they like, for example, that person wasn't my tailor. I was just trying her out. But like my tailors, I have to treat them with love, because you will ruin my life. It's not me. It's not you. Yeah, they're gonna drag me, right? They will drag me. They won't drag the tailors. They're gonna drag me. So I don't. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't drag me. I like that. That's, do you know what I mean? So, well, yeah. The balance is essential.
It's extremely essential, yeah. Because but that's what the system does. I like that because I don't know, at least I've heard from people that coming back home makes them think. Yeah, because you're the one that you have to get your water now. You have to get your light. You're everything. So you're your government. You government. You're you government. So you have to do so many things. Like where you're coming from, those things are just paid for. Yeah, they're just given. You pay for service. They are there. You don't need to sweat. But here you really need to sweat to get those things. But I think there's fulfillment that comes. I'm not saying we should normalize suffering. So I say, anybody that's watching or saying, oh, you want to do like, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that there's something that it does to us. And growth is usually inevitable when you come back and you really want to do well.
Yeah.
Growth is inevitable. You can be abroad and not really grow, even though you have anyone
Stagnant.
Yeah, you'll be stagnant and you won't even be making impact. So much impact, yeah. So
I'm sorry to dwell on the, but I just had to get.
that was a sign.
I just find so she did ask actually about what your highlight has been since you've been back.
Yeah, my highlight has just been getting on with it, I guess. Like, I just felt a level of like, I know this thing is bigger than me, right? Like, it's not to honor me, right? Like, there's so many people that I've prayed about in developing this thing. Like, I've prayed about like changing the production system in Nigeria, the quality control, how we produce. Like, I thought as far as like, what does this mean for the government? What does this, me coming to Nigeria to do this thing, what does this mean for the government? What does this mean for everybody who's thought about coming to Nigeria but is scared? I'm documenting my journey in real time. Like, you guys are seeing it all very transparently. Like, I'm showing everybody the days in my life, really, as I'm building this brand. Like, so the impact, what it means for Nigeria, what it means for the economy, what it means for people who are interested in African creatives. I've considered that, I've prayed about that, and I've thought about that. So I know it's bigger than me. So I wake up every day knowing that it's bigger than me. And there's fulfillment in that.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's probably enough to keep you going, at least till the end of the day. I mean,
wake up. Got sleep for good game.
So what do you need? What do you have to say about the people
in Nigeria? I love them, man. Do you know Nigeria is like the hardest place in the world to exist? And people don't even so. People don't even know that it's the hardest place in the world to exist, and they're still happy. Like, they're still thriving. They're still getting up. They're still going for it. The level of resilience that it's like, I don't know if it's toxic or it's fantastic, but there is a resilience in this place that makes you believe that there is nothing you cannot achieve. It's just impossible. Like, and the people are so great. They're so lovely. There's like, anywhere you go, they're really bad people, right? But the hospitality in Nigeria, the togetherness, the idea that like, if a child messes up, it's everybody that will discipline that child. And if a child does well, it's everybody that will celebrate that child. Like, that's
still a thing in Nigeria now, especially with the cities. Is that
maybe I don't know about locations. I think Anna was talking about in terms of classes. I think in terms of, I get what you mean, because I think in some of the higher classes in Nigeria, it's a replication of the West. They've just copied and pasted.
Yeah.
And so you'll have places where it feels like you're abroad in the way that they think and stuff like that, because we unfortunately do still have an inferiority complex where we clearly think we're lower down than them, which is why we have to behave like them. But I say them, the West, right? But I think in the raw, like Nigeria, I think that probably still exists.
Yeah.
And the real, do you get it's like almost grassroots, just the real average Nigerian now.
I'm going to higher classes. Yeah, I feel like the middle class up is probably only like 4%.
Yeah,
Of math.
I think even up to.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's like, yeah. And I feel like even like with what happened, I know that I don't know if you guys want to touch on this, but like this has been heavy on my heart. And I was having a conversation with Tisha, who's my content painter. She's fantastic. Like as well as a great test to people coming out of Nigeria. She's so great at what she does. But what I wanted to highlight is the fact that like people exploiting Nigeria. And like the whole Dirty December scandal of people doing chargebacks to the average Nigerian. So I don't know if you saw, but like people were going into like institutions, whether it was clubs, restaurants, using these payment methods, going back to their abroad and charging back to the banks because they've done it on their credit card. And because Nigeria's got such an astute reputation when it comes to things like fraud, it's reasonable. Oh, that happened to you? Wow, so sorry. Here's £500 back, or here's £2,000. But meanwhile, you was oble, and there's also receipts of you obleing and you having the time of your life in the club, and you're charging creatives, you're doing chargebacks to services. And I was just having a conversation about like, it's fantastic that we have Dirty December. It's great for the economy, but we're not managing it well as an economy. Like, for example, when you land in Nigeria, people should be able to get set. I don't know if you guys have a sponsor for this podcast yet, but like things like, you know, there are Kuda banks, there's OPay, there is Lemfi. There should be stations. You know how like there's NZN to your airport to set up temporary accounts for people.
Yeah.
So when you come into Nigeria as a tourist in December, there's a temp account that you can use, put your money in there, and all of these institutions take it, they get the money. And that, like, let's have structure in the way we do things. Not that, like, right now, the infrastructure cannot carry the craze of Nigeria.
Yeah.
And now, because of social media, the craze is insane. You have people coming from Thailand to come to Nigeria in December. Like, first of all, our security, our infrastructure, our roads, like our hospitality is not built for it. It's not built to sustain it. And I think the main thing that we need to do if we're coming back, and the government needs to do, is we need to work together collaboratively to really understand how do we make sure the Nigerian economy, not the ultra wealthy, not the 4%, but the average Nigerian that wakes up benefits from Dirty December. How do we make sure it doesn't inconvenience them in their lives? How do we make sure that their life is easy as a result of Dirty December and it's not made difficult? Like, what structures are we putting in place?
If that is not done quickly, there's going to be a responsibility between the locals and there already is.
We're seeing it through. Like, 2024 December, I was not here. I did not want to take part in it. And I feel like 2020 to 25, I don't know if I'll be here. I may run away because it's just too overwhelming. It's not for everyone. But I just feel like there's just so much we need to do. I'm having so many conversations at the moment with a lot of my friends who have done great stuff here. And we're having the conversation and we're like, okay, like what steps do we need to take to make Nigeria like the Dirty December period? Yes, we've made so much. There were the reports and the stats that Arising is published saying how much Nigeria had generated.
It's actually a big conversation, the Dirty December. And I hope the government has taken a cue from the last to be prepared. And not just Lagos State. Even the states in them, that's the thing, because the focus is so much on the Lagos. You shouldn't, if other states around can actually, or you're all the states, yes. And even the Port Harcourt, the states around those areas too. They can, more people will actually, they will dial back and visit those states. I want to ask this though, when this your move, hopefully it's fine.
You sure?
When I said, if God says, everyone goes in few, but as I stay here in Nigeria, what was your response or your action of your people, your family, your friends, particularly when you come in, when you say Nigeria is the place for me?
My friends were like, yep, it makes absolute sense. Like, yep, 100%. Like, my friends were like telling me to do it for, like, as soon as, like, when they saw what I was sitting on, I had like, in my apartment, when people would come, I had like a really big board. And it had like loads of, like, I would wake up in the middle of the night and go to the board and start writing ideas down for this brand. Well, so like my friends had seen me over the last year work on it religiously, and they were like, you need to leave. My family were like, Shofi me. Like my parents, like have they used it to swear for you? Like have they used to say, you put like, gee, it was something a lot that house has that, like, have you taken jazz? Have you eaten something out there that means you must continuously return back? I think that was the attitude, but I think this time my parents like saw how hard I had worked, and they kind of just like calmed down, was just like, you know what, we'll support you. Like if that's what you want to do, if you're saying that you want to go back to Nigeria and start this thing, then like you have our blessing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's.
So if we ask you to just look at your camera, and tell someone out there that maybe is about to make that kind of move, or speak to two sets of people, the people that are out there, the diasporans, and maybe they recently jeopardized, that are experiencing rough patches, how they can,
If you're thinking about moving back, your worst fear will not happen. And even if your worst fear happens, your worst fear is somebody else's best outcome. The worst thing that can happen to you is somebody else's, they're praying for to start where you are, right? Start at your rock bottom. So process that, sit with that. And then to the people that are here already, let your why be more than you. Let your why be more than you. If you're coming to start anything here, look at the problems of Nigeria, understand the playing field, speak to your drivers, speak to your chefs, speak to your service providers, understand what the struggles they deal with are. You need to understand the landscape and ask God to give you the capacity to solve those problems. You're not doing it alone. It's bigger than you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we want the conversation to continue in the comment section. And I will be surprised. You have Imale, how can they reach out to you?
So you guys can reach out to us. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. So make sure you follow us. Imale & Co on Instagram, Imale & Co on TikTok. And follow me on socials, Aminat Sule.
You'll find it on the screen anyway.
And just like that, we've written the narrative of another Jackpot story. Jackpada is Amina. Yes, we've written it. So it's not Jackpot, it's Jackpada in an Amina's way as well. So thank you, honestly, so much for just being genuine, like sharing this is your actual life. So it's not even, do you know what I mean? It's like, thank you so much for just sharing your actual life with everybody. And I mean, we just hope that people can connect to this in some way or another. Like leave comments. Obviously, we can always follow her, but comment, like, subscribe, whatever there. Follow us on all the podcast streaming. But I can't believe I'm doing this. This is super. Follow us on all the podcast streaming platforms. Remember that Japa doesn't have to be forever.
Yeah.
Like, we are here on the Japada podcast to tell you that you can Japada and you can do it in style.
Yeah.
So we all want.
Yeah, and also, sorry, one thing I want to leave is I respond to people. Like, reach out. Like, if you feel that you've got questions or you're worried or like there's something in your mind that you want to like reach out to about Nigeria, you're concerned, like, I respond.
I can testify.
I respond.
Yeah. So that's why she's here. Please do reach out.
Reach out. You have all our handles now. Good peace. Reach out. Yeah. And I'm sure you have someone, holding your hand.
Well, yeah.
So reach out hand.
Yeah.
Thank you very much so much. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
So my sister came for her NYSC and her law school.
Okay.
And that's when, so while she was here, my dad was like, why don't I come? And I was like, no, not me. But yeah, she moved back. I mean, she's gone back though. But yeah.
But she came, and then she got married here. So you came for her wedding.
Yeah. So I first of all came for her introduction, and I was like, I didn't really want to use that much of my annual leave. So I only came for like 5 days. And I really wanted to extend my ticket when I came. Because I came and I had a good time. I had the time of my life. I was like, oh, wow, okay. Then I came for her wedding the year after. And I think that's where the switch completely occurred.